Talofa love everyone and welcome back to Organic Talanoa. My name is Aogamalie Sione Sione and I'd like to welcome you to my podcast Organic Talanoa. In this episode I'm joined by Pulotu Selio Solomon, Chairman for New Zealand Men's Health, a Pacific businessman, and today we get to understand his inspirational journey through business that was instilled for him from a young age with a family business and how this has set him up to be in some high-level leadership roles. We get to hear highs and lows of running a business and ways of how he worked through good and tough situations and many more. I hope you find something interesting and meaningful in this Organic Talanoa to support you in your journey in life.
This one's for you and you and you and you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you.
Da 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 da.
Welcome everybody to Organic Talanoa. Joined today by Pulotu Selio Solomon, or Fionga Pulotu. Welcome, bro. As I explained, bro, with Organic Talanoa, and it's just pretty much open forum chat, laxed. So I just create the environment where it's just lax talk and just like me and you talking at the gym or something, in the car park. Yeah. So probably good for people just to understand like who you are yourself, and then could probably start off obviously you have a role with Ministry of Air, but also businessman, and just some of your roles you have too. So it's all yours, brother.
Yeah. Well, firstly, whawhate lava, Fionga Aogamalie Sione. It's a privilege to be here and just have this kalangoa with you, you know. But also I think it sort of, just with today and the passing of, you know, Fionga Whesalai, you know, Inga the Winga, you know, the original Jonah Lomo, I guess, you know, as an idol for both of us, as we were growing up and watching him through the 80s and the 90s, you know, just want to just be mindful of him and the Ainga. But also, you know, just what the world's going through at the moment, you know, with what's happening in Ukraine and Russia, you know, you just want to think about these things, put things into context, you know, and, you know, alongside with what we're going through with Omicron, and man, just the world is just, it's a unique place to be in at the moment, you know. So yeah, no, it's a privilege to be here. You know, I've been talking about this for a while. And, you know, with my roles as education manager at the Ministry of Education, and, you know, looking after a team of currently 17, you know, that report to me, and looking after South Auckland, the home of the brave, bold and the beautiful, you know, and you know, multidisciplinary team right from ECE through to the compulsory sector, right through to transitions. You know, even that, you know, when I think about, you know, just to get here today after what the sector's going through, what our families, our communities are going through, you know, you sort of, you know, you just need to be on your game, you know, bro. So it's, you know, it's with that. And then I've got, as you say, there's other things around business, you know, Bisingisi. I come from a Bisingisi family. It's in the blood, it's in the DNA, you know, dad and mum, you know, ran the Central Cinema back in the 70s, you know, so I'm a movie freak, bro. You know, I love the movies and used to love going to the cinema. Geez, they owned it when I was about 8 years old and let it go when I was, about 13, 14, you know, and this was the time before beta videos, VHS, you know, and in fact, that was the combination of that technology saw us having to sell that. You know, man, that was with a heavy heart when that left, you know, because I can still remember Dad used to show on long weekends, you know, 6 movies in a row, you know, and people used to bring their blanket and their, you know, their food and come and sit in there, and the place was packed. But I then saw how, from a very young age, watched my father negotiate, you know, as a businessman. You know, his profession is teacher by profession, you know, but he had this other foot in the business side, because he my dad, he's teetotaler, doesn't drink, he's never drunk, doesn't smoke, but that was like his buzz. Yeah, that was his go-to. That we would relax with the beer. He would relax with how was he gonna? Which movie was the best for the next one? Which combination of the two double features? But then I used to watch him negotiate with the film companies. Columbia Pictures.
Yeah.
He used to take. I was blessed that he took me everywhere. Hey, come on, son, we're going. This 9-10-year-old kid, watch him, and he would just negotiate hard. Then we went into, once we sold that, we went into the travel agent business. So we ran Solomon Travel for a while. Then we went to, Dad went into importing of talo and ginger from Fiki.
Yeah.
Dad's from VG, and then we went into Martin Haltis, Pacific People's Learning Institute, and we did that for just under 30 years. Second chance learning, getting young people that have missed out on the system into get them qualifications, give them the tools, give them sustainable employment. And then, but it was, it was odd, because the government at the time, we shut that down in 2016. And that was heavy for me, because that was a real alofa, and just watched mum and dad do their stuff, But they said it was because there was no need for private training establishments that were, I guess, owned and governed by Pacifica, And ironically enough, in my current role, I see so many kids disengaged, bro, and then there's what's called the NEETs, and it was, it's not an employment educational training now. And back in the Martin Haltis days, it was about 18,000, particularly just in Auckland. Today, it's just over 30,000 that are not engaged.
Yeah, man.
And these are the kids. So those are the kids you can't find.
Yeah.
And then there's kids that go to school that we can find, but you can't find, if that makes any sense, And now with the pandemic, our communities are vulnerable, and they get a bit anxious around sending their kids to school, because as Pacific people and Māori, we're all living in intergenerational homes. We, your mum and dad and I, mum and dad stay, got them staying with me, and and then looking after them. So going out and then coming back is a risk. So and then so that businessy side, but all the while through dad and mum, I learned a lot, and I did my first year MBA.
I was going to say, that was massive influence, man. Especially from the beginning. Even I started from a cinema. Your dad was Chucks. He would have been 30-something, mid 30s. When him and mum did that, and that was gifted from my mum's dad, because he was a businessman too, and so there was a massive influence, around money, management of cash flow, negotiation, vision, pathways, and so it was a massive learning curve, And so I go back to the MBA, and I'm thinking, well, nothing could actually teach me more than what I learned. Life skills,
life skills, just lived experiences and watching how it works, and there were failings, there were good times, there was highs and lows, and I think as when I took over as the CEO, of MHI, that was a massive learning curve. I actually then went away from education of young people to running a business, and I learned very fast that cash flow was king. And then you sort of had to. And I always say this, I would, if anything, I'd probably, if all else fails, I'll get a good job juggling in the circus, because you're just constantly juggling, taking this from here and, so I think, well, it was really good, bro.
Yeah. Just in terms of yourself being in that position of CEO, bro.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how much pressure you would have been under. I guess looking into ways of how you coped with that pressure.
It's funny you say that, bro, because the pressure was intense. and I couldn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
I was worried about how am I going to pay the staff? How am I going to pay the taxes? We got government contracts, and then you'd lose some contracts, but because of my parents' mindset around helping others, I couldn't release those people, because I just couldn't,
It wasn't in you.
It wasn't in, to say, hey, well, actually, I got to sack you because we lost this contract. So they would absorb within the business, but that was putting added pressure.
It's almost like make it work.
Yeah, make it work. Yeah, and then with my, bless. Some people go to my dad, because then he was like, "Don't worry," and he'll come to me and say, "Keep them," So you're the CEO, but you're still listening to the poinga, and so you really couldn't make as specific. You can't really make those decisions. But in terms of the coping mechanisms, I remember going to my mum and said to her, "Gee, how did you cope from this stuff?" Because at that time I was overweight, not that I'm looking like $1 million now, but overweight, drinking. My drinking just went through the roof, man. Alcohol was just on, man. And I remember asking my mum, how do you cope? Why did you never take to the drink? She goes, well, because I knew, and this is quite a simple explanation, Well, because I knew if I drank, I'd get a sore head the next day, but the problem's still there. Yeah. And I just went, done. So I gave up drinking for 2 years. Went on a journey around wellness and health and lost weight, dropped 50 kilos and have kept it off ever since, because just that whole mindset around, nah, man, if I want to cope through this pressure and not, and I didn't want to get a heart attack or a stroke, I thought I got to get, I've got to start exercising, eating properly, give up the drink. Yeah.
Like you're touching on the health issues, because you would have had massive, how hard, I guess when you look at the beginning of that journey of, so a lot of would have probably been exercises going into it, probably to points where you just wanted to give up, but I guess it wasn't in you. Because your dad he's sort of instilled in you, nah, you make it work.
Well, but it goes back to what you just said. Make it work. Find the solution. Because it's for the betterment of other people. And that was the mantra. It's always about other people. And so I did. I must say I did. There were times there because I just suffered some serious stress. And then it gets into the anxiety. Yeah. Then you go through depression. But then I knew that if I exercised, I would be, the blood would just run through the body, clear the mind. So I made sure that I would exercise every morning, without a doubt. If there was meetings, I would postpone the meetings. I'd always do my cardio, go for my training, because I knew if I didn't do that, the rest of the day was crap. It was, Then it goes to rubbish eating. There's cafes down the road. Just go pies, drinks. So I knew that the exercise was critical, bro.
Good how it sets up your day, doing a bit of exercise and go. And I don't think everybody wants the now. Oh no, I want it. But no doubt you went into the journey of, bro, you had to just sort of just plug away. These days you would have wanted to give up.
Oh, absolutely. And or start, go and have a drink at midday.
Yeah.
And say, that's it, I'm done, But, I knew I had, at that time, I had 30 staff relying on me, and even though things are getting even tougher, I'll do my exercise, have a shower, dress up, and go there because I wanted them to know we're in this together. Yeah. You're not alone. And so that was a real visual. It was all about the optics, and the optics were, well, the boss is here, it must be okay, And so that was critical for me. Right?
Leading from the front, yes.
And leading from the front, last man standing, all that stuff, and going down and making sure, because when it was finally coming to an end, and we sort of sent a letter to the community to say, thank you. Even now I get emotional about it, because I saw and I watched the sacrifices my parents made to get it. And I felt at that point too that I was shutting down their dream, that I was bringing it to an end, and but I made sure that everyone was placed and they got other jobs, they got other work, bro. And it was just my sister and I right at the end, bro, and it was but it was a blessing too, bro. It was a blessed, graceful time. It's time of grace, that you can go, Mum and Dad did a lot, because particularly at that site in Onehunga, and even when I drive by there,
memories flooded, and
also because it's every day. I'm reminded of it, because my father planted those trees with his own bare hands. He painted the walls. He was so he loved it, and so it was tough, bringing stuff off the walls, packing it away, and but I understood too that it's a season, It was a season, and we had a wonderful season, seasons of great highs and great lows. But I tell you, it set me up. It set me up for where I am today.
Exactly.
In terms of the Ministry of Education and in all my other governance roles, bro.
And have you come across any of your students, ex-students? No doubt you would have done a lot for them. Maybe some have gone into business, setting up a lot of stuff themselves, or actually probably excelled in any field that they're in. Have you run into?
Yeah, well, we constantly run in,
nice,
and because we think, over that almost 30-year period, it'll be well over 10,000 people that we served, well over, which is small, and when you think about in terms of polytechs and universities, but in terms of us, we would have 200 students max, because that was quite purposeful, because we wanted to make sure that we served the needs of everyone. Bump into them now, and they're doing well. They own their own homes. They've got children.
Nice.
Got good jobs. And sometimes I think, hey, can I get a loan? Just to say. But man, I guess we can sit back and be proud of that ngaruenga, of that work.
Proud of, I guess, your role you played in that person's part of life, right?
Yeah, because it's, as you say, it's about enabling and empowering people, and all that. The value add that we did for them, and I think for us too, when a few years back, your mum and dad got honoured through the Queen's
nice
honours for that, was I guess it was the icing on the cake. It's not about the reward. The reward was in the kids, the young people, and not so young people too. We had people that were in their late, in their 40s and 50s, 60s, some, and wanting to, just get extra tools, But I tell you, particularly, dad, mum, that they were before that, for me, and I know I'm being biased, but they're way before their time when it came to that stuff. Because I can still remember when we were going into computers, back in the sort of the CPU and the monitor, the old stuff, and they had this idea around, let's buy the computer and give it to them, but at the time the government agency said, nah, because that's like an incentive to bring people. Whereas today, through the lockdown, one of the biggest issues was devices. They couldn't have devices, so that was I'd go back at least 20 years ago. Mum, Dad, they came up with that, and yet devices is an issue, connectivity is the issue. So we try to play our little bit, bro.
Oh, nice. And I think people take it for granted how important being connected is, with each other. I mean, obviously we're talking in the space of lockdown now, and I probably bring it back into this journey of your other role, chairman of, as I call you, chairman, chair of New Zealand Men's Health. So, bro, that's quite a unique group in itself. I guess more if we look at our T4U family.
Yeah.
How's that been, bro? It's a different world in itself, especially where you're sitting.
Totally different world. Also because the trustees that sit around that table are smart.
Yeah.
Balangis, they're in wealth creation. They're in the share market. One of it's Pathfinder. John Berry. He looks after your KiwiSaver, right? And massive, bro. And they were last year, voted the most ethical provider of KiwiSaver in the country. So that tells me that he's very trustworthy, he operates in the highest of integrity. And so, I get on there. So I just constantly am learning, So I'm taking from a Pacifica lens and putting it inside there. And so today, and I feel blessed that they trust me around that, the T4U, the Checkmate Pi program, because they actually see, well, that's the gap, that's the need, is our Pacific men and their health, and not just the physical health, the whole, whole order, the whole being. So I, sitting in there, I just marvel at, what these guys do and what they do for a job, but also what they do in business, running their own business, but how they look out for us. They may be Palangi, but they got the Pacific and Māori within them, to say, no, let's do this. And I remember one time when we first started the Checkmate Pi, and I was coming back and reporting to them and saying, one of the brothers, weighs over 200 kilos, and they just couldn't.
Quite normal. It's normal.
That's not standard for us, 100, because even 100 for them is like, what? So just even, I feel as though, and I hope that they feel as though I'm educating them too and bringing them into a world that is foreign for them, but they're very much appreciative of it too, bro.
Yeah, I guess I should take that back, because we shouldn't say that it should be normal, especially in PIs of being 200 Ks, but there are a lot out there, and health issues are always massive with the PIs, and probably it's good that we've sort of touched base around with Checkmates, T4U, Tulo's another one as well. Yeah. So, and in terms of how's that been, and sort of obviously we're going through our little journey again.
Yeah.
We've been in there, sort of got too busy, and then come back in again. How's that been, bro?
Oh, I must admit, I really enjoy it, because I think, as you rightly put it, it's been very, you dip in and out, But I guess the fundamentals of nutrition and exercise will always stay with us, But I think, when you go back to that normality, and, we shouldn't make it a normality around 200 kilos, I guess that goes back into my role as education, that we should be having a curriculum around nutrition in the schools right from primary, if not right from the ECE. And then because
financial literacy, financial capability, right?
Yeah, all that financial literacy, digital literacy, all that stuff. Because yes, I do. There's the standard ones around English, science, and stuff. But I must admit, I did tertiary calculus. I don't think I've ever used it ever again. So it's around shucks. How do we make it relevant? How do we bring today's world in today's curriculum? Because even with mental well-being, like I can still remember one of the Usos when I bumped into him out at Manukau. He had put on a bit of weight. He was struggling with depression. He was like, why wasn't this done at school? Why wasn't I taught at school how to deal with coming out of school, trying to get a job, then, getting married, having children, and then, so there's no text or manual on that stuff, bro. But so I think, and really enjoying the journey. I think this year, like I said to you, bro, the big 5-0 this year. So it's sort of like, okay, it's time to get serious around exercise, nutrition, drop the weight. But it's not about getting back on stage again. It's just about living comfortably, enjoying food, enjoy the kalo, but we just don't have to eat the kalo and the pea soup every day. You know, we just
Moderation.
We don't have to eat the McDonald's. I love McDonald's. I love quarter pounder combo. I love double quarter pounder combo, bro. But I just, why not just have it once every 3 months? Something like that, bro. It's just something simple. And I think if we can discipline our guys to be disciplined in our approach to stuff, bro, we're navigators, bro. We know that malanga. We're strong, we're resilient and all that stuff. We should be that as well, bro.
Because it's been, I guess, a lot of this, if we think of this Organic Talanoa, this pod here has come a lot through what we've done in the lockdowns with the men and health issues, being sitting, like PI's pretty sitting up there and high in the stats and that. And I guess, like, your experience, like, I don't know, I'm not sure how your groups were, but how did you find as we were in lockdown and things were going, we weren't unsure. Like, how did you find with the men and how they were talking, or did you find anything around maybe they were talking? Guys who were quiet were actually opening up a bit.
Yeah, I remember that Telenor, we had that online one on the Sunday. Man, I was tired. It was a Sunday. And then I remember jumping on, and man, I was blown away just by guys that don't generally talk, talking. These are proud men, right? Proud of, heads of their families, heads of all locals, churches, their own jobs. And, the last thing they want to talk about is their feelings and all the warm, fuzzy stuff, but they were. And I remember taking that back. That was a real data-rich session.
Yeah.
And I remember went on for sessions, and I think it took the lockdown for them to open up. And then I remember going back to the board and saying, we need to get year-on-year funding for this, because, you had men that were struggling, saying, hey, brothers, I need a hand, man, and I think through that period we probably, would have lowered a lot of those stats, particularly around family harm and all that stuff, because that was a tough time, bro. I mean, I remember the first lockdown. I mean, even for me, someone that I feel I sort of pride myself on my discipline. I think I drank every night the first lockdown, bro, because I was something foreign, new. You're stuck. You couldn't go anywhere, and so that was a real eye opener for me, because then I remember thinking the Checkmate Pi vision was successful, and we need some Ministry of Health or someone to come and say, listen, we're going to pick this up and run it across the motua, across the country.
Probably not just for men too, I guess for all of us in general. There were girls, women and girls, and then youth as well. Because, it's probably a common theme. And we're hearing about the terms of suicide. That's all coming through, and we look at finding groups like this, mental health and organizations that, and then other groups where they umbrella other groups as well that come through. So we're finding too that there is worth in these, and look, out of that came a podcast of Organic Talanoa.
Oh,
we're here.
Congratulations, bro. This is impressive, eh? This is because it becomes something that's that value proposition, eh? It's adding value, and just to get people's thoughts. And so, no, big congratulations. I'm so proud of you, man.
But I can see you getting better at your burpees. So,
yeah.
Props to my mate Mateo there, T for you. He just chucks those numbers up. We don't complain. We just carry on going through. It's kind of hard to complain when you turn around and you see someone who's about 150 and they're getting down and up.
Yeah.
And that's the inspiration this does.
Yeah. I think what, something is just flicked for me too, the switch, just to that mantra around to the end.
Yeah.
To the end. Don't cheat, to the end. Keep on going. Even if you're stuffed, just, and I remember watching you guys playing footy, it was just hard, and then across the white line, it's all good again, So yeah, it's using those skills, you know, but I think the skill for me is around watching others and being inspired.
Yeah.
You know, like you say, when you've seen other guys that are, you know, 30, 40, 50 kilos heavier, getting down and up, and think, what's my excuse?
And also, probably some of them are 15, 20 years older than us, but man, that's how inspirational is that, with a lot of those guys. And bro, every time you say to the end, I'm just like, bro, shut up. I don't want to hear it right now, but you know, I turn around and you're still going burpees. I'm like, damn it.
Because I was, you know me, I can at times be a very lazy trainer, you know, but I don't know, something's happened, bro. I think it's the 50 coming, that, and I always said, you know, that's why when I got diagnosed that I was having massive problems when I was 38, the pre-sukkar and, you know, and diabetes and high blood pressure and everything. And the doctor basically said, if you don't do anything, you're going to be gone. And that was it, you know. And so I lost all that weight because I wanted to run into my 40s and my 50s, you know. And I look at our dads, you know, and my dad, you know, struggling with Parkinson's disease, and you know, he's at 78, but he's had a wonderful, wonderful life. But I want to make sure that I'm still able at that age, you know, to be walking around, you know, to be walking up One Tree Hill or whatever, you know. And we can do that because the science and the technology and the information that we've got now, we should be, you know. Whereas our dads, all they wanted us to do was, like, you know, go to work, come home, go to work, come home, put the food on the table, roof over their head. You know, if I said to him back then, you know, aren't you going to go for it? And he's like, are you Valea? Don't you want to eat? You know, so it's all that, you know. So they've set the platform for us to enjoy this life now with exercise and nutrition.
Yeah. What is it, like pretty much hard beginnings for them, and then they've made our lives easier. And always wonder whether that's made us soft.
I think we are, you know, at times. You know, because like I look at in comparison to
tough.
like dad was man at 50, she's full, you know, business, man. You know, even business, you know, he was running it. You know, he was acquired property and, you know, had this vision and did it with mum. You know, they did it. You know, so whereas with us, I think for me, I'm probably more conservative when I think about it. You know, like I'll just go get a job that, you know, government job and affect change that way. But still getting itchy around the business there, bro.
I was going to say, if there's any thoughts going through mind, whether that be probably something you'd look in, like, oh, maybe, you know, it's because you know that there's it's useful, and that way I saw Man Horus was that it was like you were PI, you know, and you probably got a lot of your teachings across because they were familiar faces that they were seeing.
Yeah, and I think so. Yeah, absolutely. You know, answer to your question, absolutely. Business is, you know, but you want to be at the front end of it, you know, so that you can really build on it, you know. So what that looks like, feels like at the moment, still unsure. Still really loving the job at the moment. But also I you know, started my Iku Panuku board internship with the directors, and you know, we talked about men's health. These people are smart too, and that's about shaping the way the city will look in 5, 10, 15, 20 years time, you know. And I think about it and think, wow, you know, this is legacy stuff that I can cast my lens over it and say, well, you know, I reckon we should put this here, we should do this here, you know. And then, you know, partnership with iwi and property development, and you know, and because all these suburbs are popping up, as you well know, and so, but you need to make sure that you got the right facilities in those places, and
each one's unique.
Each one's unique, you know. And I'm just thinking, well, can we make sure, you know, South Auckland is well catered for, that we have good amenities as well, you know, that they are like other suburbs or other areas within Auckland, you know, that we get the same, you know, because when we talk about equity, that to me is equity. So being on that and going through that process for 18 months is something that I'm going to enjoy. So it goes back to whether I go in to do some formal study or do I do this professional learning development stuff. This is hands-on, you know, and then the connects that you make, you know, you got people like, as you well know, with people that are engineers, that are architects, that develop stuff, and the real, forward thinking, talking about, you know, how is it affordable home ownership for our families and getting people off the street. Oh man, I love that stuff. You know, that's my thing.
Big topic, see, the affordable homes, bro, because it's not affordable at the moment.
No, you know, and I think, you know, you can see, you know, the economists talking about, you know, lowering the interest rates, and, you know, some banks are starting to, the LVRs and, you know, making it 10%. But, you know, I think, you know, we should be worried about the affordability of homes, because eventually, particularly for our children, they'll be in a society of inheritance, not you know, getting the, you know, and that's how it will flow down, you know, and that's how you know, our Palangi families do it, right? You know, they build, leave for the rest, you know, so that it's just that accumulation of wealth is through there, and that's how you talk about that financial literacy, and, you know, it's pretty easy, you know, but hard. Well, I'm not going to say it's that easy. So that affordable homes, but then you know, you and I go back to that journey of our Pacific people, you know, and I always if I'm sitting in any forum, I always tell the people that live in Greyland and Ponsonby, that's where we started.
Exactly.
You know, that's where we started. But then you can see that whole push it started. You know, well, it's not started. It's happened. It's happening. You know. So
it's like you say, bro. Like we talked about it in one of our podcasts, and there's Papakura used to be a handful of islanders. Now, man, there's heaps, which is not a bad thing either.
Yeah.
But you can just see the effects of how it's gone expensive, and now it's starting to push down further south, and it's probably going to push even further south.
And then it goes back to this board that I'm on. So what are the facilities out there for our people? In Papakura, in South Auckland, right? You know, as you say, it's going. Next thing we're going to end up in Huntly, you know, if not further down. But so what are we? You know, our churches, you know, and we don't need to go too far around developing the stuff or designing them. We've already done it.
Yeah.
As Pacific people, we've done it. Let's go back to our old people and say, actually, how did you do that? You know, like sometimes I look at all our churches, and think, man, how did they do that?
Yeah.
You know, and particularly in the Pope space, the Catholic space, you know, Malayola. And I think, how did these guys do this? We're all trying to put food on the table, put their kids through school, because back then, as you well know, all our families were 5, 6, 7 kids, you know, and then at that same time, they were still bringing people over, you know, so like, as you well know too, bro, our homes were Grand Central Station, bro. Your son, you're losing your room for the next 6 months. Hey, you know, you're going to sleep in a sitting room, you know. So, but they did it. All our churches are up there running. There's the Ikalesia, you know. And so, you know, when we talk about financial literacy, they may not have the qualifications for it, but they do.
Yeah.
They've done it. They showed it through that stuff, through building, you know, through, you know, lobbying with our churches, the Methodists, the PIC, FHSA, you know, the Catholics got land. This is where we're going to build it. You know, let's do it. Fundraised, went to agencies and ASB Trust and got money, you know, and then matched it dollar for dollar, you know, and did it, you know. So anyway, I think, you know, when we talk about that whole, you know, the push, as long as we've got facilities out there for our people so that they can, when they go in there, it feels, looks like them, then I think we're going to be okay, you know?
Good point on there, and it's something that just through the Talanoa has probably come through, is that how you always sort of tap back, you went back to your parents, like we probably need to make that more often, that with that connection with our elderly, you know, like you, as you said, bro, they've been there, done that. and there's always value in their experiences that's going to help us for now.
Well, you're right also, and I think, sometimes I, even when I first took over, there was, I thought, I've been whia poko, and the koinga was school, to say, and I would disagree. Then, funny enough, it just came back, and I just said, "Man," and I remember going back to Dad and saying, "Man, sorry, I should have listened. Yes, you'll learn.
Yeah,
that's how you're going to learn. I've been around. I know that. So you are right. We need to, particularly with our elderly, we need to treasure them. And glean and learn and ask questions. And I love sitting there with my folks and just kalangoa about the old days and this and that and even shucks, coming to 50, I still learn something new every day about the journey, the coming here. Dad, having to wear a passport around his neck, so that he could identify that he was a resident in this country, and Mum, names being changed because they couldn't pronounce our names. How does that even work? So I think for us it's treasure them, look after them, but also, because time's coming close, and we just need to appreciate them, bro.
Oh, it's nice, bro. It's good, Talanoa. I guess as we wound down and just listening to biggest part, bro, that came out of that is just the amount of service. Yalo le pule tautua, so road to leadership is the service. So, and obviously, it's good to see that that's sort of something that's been built into your family and from your parents to yourself, and even to your siblings. But thanks, bro. It's been refreshing to listen to another part of your life, because we talk about other things, but and this is probably the whole thing around it is one, if I come across someone new, then I love listening to them, but then even knowing yourself, we know each other well, and but bro, I still took a lot. I take a lot out of our Talanoas.
Likewise also, and bless you for providing this platform, and I proud of you too, bro. From as you say, we used to muck around playing rugby, and you was always up in the top team. But no, really proud of you too, bro. So thank you very, very much for the opportunity.
No, thank you for once again, Pulotu. Thank you for your service, and especially for giving your experiences, bro, because that's of value. And I know for people that are listening out there, is that journey, the mental health one, is that you're not alone. There are groups out there, and even for yourself that are sitting in cheering, New Zealand men's health, which is priority of us PIs, sitting on highest ones on the stats. So let's do something about it, man. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. I love it.
Good having you here, brother.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man.
This one's for you and you and you. And you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you.
Da 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 da.